Well, good evening, and thank you for joining me here on Facebook Live this evening. We've got a lot to talk about with our forecast here over the next 7 days, but before we start, I've got to say the next few days looking pretty great to go outside and soak up some very seasonable weather for this time of the year. I'm going to kind of take my time here going through what to expect over the next week, but feel free to ask questions on our Facebook or YouTube comments, and I will answer those as we get toward the end of the live stream. Right now, though, you're taking a look at I-20 at Pecanland Mall Road. Traffic flowing pretty smoothly. Those winds a lot decreased compared to what we were seeing earlier, now about 8 miles an hour out of the west. Still a bit on the chillier side, low 40s, so if you're headed out this evening, you are going to want to grab that light jacket. Maybe opt for something a little heavier if you're going to be out for much longer. Current temperatures for the rest of us, El Dorado already in the mid-30s there, Natchez still holding strong in the mid-40s, and Tallulah also dropping down into the upper 30s for this hour. I'm going to go ahead and take these graphics full real quick so y'all can get a better view of what we're looking at. Our KNOE weather app is an important tool. If you don't already have it on your phone, I would recommend downloading it now. You can screenshot and scan that QR code on your screen. Over the next few hours, we'll be falling into the mid-30s temperature-wise, and tomorrow morning will likely be below freezing once again. So you are going to want to grab that heavier jacket as you head out the door tomorrow morning. Now, Futurecast showing tomorrow is going to be a pretty great day. We may have a few thin clouds throughout the day, but otherwise things are looking pretty nice for a good chunk of the day. Again, no cloud cover still as we get toward mid-afternoon and early evening. When we do start to see cloud cover return is as we go toward the afternoon hours on Thursday. And we fast forward the clock a few more hours to about 8, 9 o'clock. We have the chance for a few isolated showers, but that main rain will come through later in the night Thursday into the early morning hours on Friday. We're starting to get some of those short-range models some of that data, and those short-range models give us a better idea of timing and the intensity of some of this rain. You may notice Futurecast has a lot of this rolling in as you start that morning commute on Friday with a few light showers. However, as we approach the mid-morning hours around 9, 10 o'clock, you notice some of that heavier rain as that cold front begins moving through the region. Now, some of these storms could be strong to severe, but the good news is I am seeing a little bit of a downtrend in those severe threats. Hopefully that's something that continues here over the next few model runs. The rain clears out rather quickly. By the noon hour, we're looking at some very pleasant conditions. As I mentioned, we are looking at that severe threat. It is a level 2 slight risk for Thursday night into Friday morning. This outlook is valid through 6 a.m. on Friday. Damaging winds, large hail will be the primary threats with these strong to severe storms. The tornado threat is not zero, but as I had mentioned before, there is some good news with those trends. I do think that severe potential, fingers crossed, will be going down. We can't take all that data based off one model run, but it is something we'll watch here over the next few days. One thing I do want to note here real quick, wind gusts, even without those showers and storms, are going to be on the gustier side. Just before midnight Friday, you may notice winds gusting there to 30 miles per hour. Those gusts are not even caused by those showers and thunderstorms. As we go toward Friday morning, you may notice, and I'm going to see if I can point it out a little bit better here with our pointer, this kind of line here of gustier winds near Jackson. That there is likely that line of showers and storms that will move through a little earlier in the day. But you may notice winds behind that still gusting to anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour. So similar wind conditions to what we've seen the past few days, and something we'll be watching here very closely throughout the day on Friday. I know a lot of people have been curious about the Arctic air arriving next week and our chances for wintry precipitation. So I do want to break things down for you a little more in detail. Here's what we do know so far. Arctic air arrives in northeast Louisiana Sunday night into the early morning hours on Monday. This is going to drop us well below freezing for an extended period of time. The thing that's a little more iffy, though, is going to be that wintry precipitation. What you're looking at on your screen right now is the GFS model, our global forecast model here. You may notice there in northeast Louisiana, you see some of those pinks and you see some of those blues indicating that wintry mix. Right now, the GFS model is hinting at freezing rain more so than snow. And I am going to take things over real quick to our other computer real quick. I made a post on Facebook recently, actually. This diagram that you see here is called a skew-T diagram. It's something that's very important when we make our forecast. This one here is a previous GFS model run for Monday morning about that same time. So I'm going to use my mouse cursor here. This magenta line I drew here is the 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit line, or the freezing line. So what this chart here shows us is it shows us the temperature and the dew point values, not only here at the ground, but also up in our atmosphere a few kilometers. So this green line here indicates our dew point. The red line here indicates the temperature. And for this case, I do want to really focus on that temperature line. So here we are at the ground, 31 degrees. We're below that freezing mark. But as we go up about 1 kilometer to 2 kilometers, you may notice both lines kind of shoot well to the east of that freezing line. So that means that from about 1 to 2 kilometers above the ground, we have temperatures above freezing, indicating that these snowflakes that are falling down from 15 plus kilometers in the air, once they get about 1 to 2 kilometers away from the ground, they start to melt. This isn't just a degree or two above freezing. This is a pretty significant chunk. We stay above freezing until right about the time we get to the ground. Then that precipitation freezes once again. This QT here is telling me that if this were to come true, freezing rain would be what we're dealing with, and that's kind of what the GFS model has picked up on. So I'm going to take things back to the graphic and show you another scenario here. This is the European model, and it agrees. The Arctic air rolls in Sunday night into Monday morning. Temperatures below freezing once again. Both models do agree on that. The European model also hints at the freezing rain, but the European model hints at that arriving a little bit later. This is 11 a.m. on Monday, whereas the GFS model I just showed you was valid at midnight on Monday. Again, still showing some of that freezing rain possible or wintry mix, but once again, the precipitation is not something that we have a solid confirmation on just yet, and it's something we're going to have to watch pretty closely. I do want to show you that temperature change, though, real quick. This is how things are looking Sunday afternoon. Pretty seasonable. We have those high temperatures there in the mid-50s, low 50s for our southern Arkansas counties. And one thing I do want to explain real quick and have you take note of, you may notice these kind of turquoise numbers here, a little bit smaller to the right of those white temperature values. Those are our wind chill or our feels-like temperatures. You're going to notice as that cold front approaches on Sunday into Monday, those temperatures plummet pretty quickly. This model here wants to put a lot of us in the teens, feels like temperatures in the single digits. Even this model here picking up on Crossett being near 0 degrees. I don't want you to take these numbers as what's actually going to happen on Monday, but the indications are it's going to be pretty cold. And these are some details we'll be able to fine-tune a little more in the days to come. Monday afternoon, things warming up, but not by a lot. Temperatures in the mid-20s, feels like temperatures there in the teens still. And then once again, Tuesday morning, waking up to some bitter cold conditions. Teens for those temperatures, feels like temperatures in the low teens to even single digits for some. Tuesday afternoon, there is some hope that we might see temperatures finally rise above freezing. When you factor in that wind, though, a lot of us are still going to be feeling at or below that freezing mark. And then Wednesday, once again, things are looking a little more hopeful, as by mid-morning we could be above freezing or at that freezing level. But again, something to watch here very closely in the days to come. To recap everything for you, I know there's a lot going on in our forecast over the next 7 days. This week, the big thing to pay attention to is going to be our next weather maker. That's moving in late Thursday night into the early morning hours on Friday. Strong to severe storms are possible with this line of storms that will be rolling through. Damaging winds, large hail are going to be the primary threats, but I can't rule out a few tornadoes in there as well. Again, models signaling it may be a lower end severe potential. Hopefully they continue to trend in that direction. You are going to want to stay tuned to the forecast, though, over the next few days. In addition to those strong to severe storms, we could have gusty winds up to 40 miles per hour possible throughout the majority of Friday, even after that rain moves through, similar to what we saw yesterday and today. Recapping things for next week, the Arctic air arrives Sunday night into Monday morning. It's going to drop us below freezing, and we're going to stay below freezing possibly for 36 to 48 hours. And within that time window, if we do go above freezing, it's only going to be by a few degrees. The GFS and the European models do indicate that wintry precipitation is possible, but it's not something that I can say with much certainty, as we are still a little under a week out. Those details are going to become a lot more clear as we get toward the end of the work week and this weekend. Winter weather in the south, similar to severe weather as far as the models. Things are going to change every day, and we're going to have to watch that guidance over the next few days. If you don't already have the KNOE weather app, I encourage you to download it. Again, we have the strong storm potential later this week, the wintry weather possible next week. Another good source for that weather information is going to be on Facebook. If you're not following our weather page as well as our own professional pages, I encourage you to do so. We're all going to be posting updates while we're on the clock, around the clock, as this weather does approach the Arclimus. We're going to be posting text updates. We'll post graphics there as well, and also these live streams to help keep you weather aware as we have that active weather rolling in here within the next few days. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. we are going to see temperatures pretty warm on Thursday, upper 60s, low 60s on Friday. That's likely going to be a morning high. That front's going to move on through during the morning, going to drop those temperatures there for the afternoon. Then this weekend, temperatures are seasonable before we get that blast of Arctic air going into this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look real quick at the Facebook comments, go ahead and answer some of those questions for you this evening. And you can join me tonight on KQI, tonight on our ABC affiliate, tonight at 10. Marcus will have your forecast tonight at 10 on CBS on KNOE. But let's go ahead and scroll through some of these comments and see what questions y'all have for me this evening. Somebody mentioned better put on a blizzard coat. Definitely going to need that. I've got my heated vest already prepped for tonight. Definitely going to need that as we go into the weekend. I'm going to check our other pages here real quick and see if we have any other questions. Our audio levels, I apologize for that a little bit later. Let's see. I see some people checking in from Jones in West Monroe, Louisiana. Thanks for tuning in with us this evening. Jeff, I'm not sure when what time frame your question was for, what weather event, I should say. But the strong to severe storms likely looking at early Friday morning. Again, the possibility is there. It is a lower end threat, but something we're going to keep a close eye on here over the next few days. The possibility for wintry precip is going to be greatest Monday morning. After that, we should stay dry. The cooler temperatures, the much cooler temperatures in the 20s, the teens, that's going to come starting Monday morning or late Sunday night, early Monday morning. Those are going to stick with us until about midweek. That's where we're going to see those cooler temperatures. I see that Dana said, hey, from Winsboro. Thanks for joining me this evening. I just turned the volume up a little bit more. Hopefully some of y'all can hear me a little bit better. Rhonda said, I hope no ice. I agree with you. Hopefully no ice. That could cause a lot of trouble for us on the roads. I saw Elizabeth commented, no, I'm right there with you. I love the warm weather, not the cold weather. But unfortunately, this time around, and things could change. Things very well could change. But the snow potential isn't looking too great right now. I mean, if we're going to have disruptions, I would much rather have something beautiful to look at for a little while than just some freezing rain. Again, that could change, but something we'll have to keep a very close eye on here over the next few days. I'm going to check our YouTube channel here, see if we have any comments. It doesn't look like we do. Again, if you have any more questions, I'm going to stay on for another minute or two. Feel free to ask those questions here. But if not, I'll go ahead and hop off here within the next few minutes. Will there be snow and ice on Monday? The wintry precip is not something I can say those chances are very confident for right now. I'm going to take things back. I'll recap what I talked about just a moment ago with the two models that we have available. So I'm going to go ahead and put those back on the screen for you. This is the GFS model, our American Global model. This is Midnight Monday. It wants to put some wintry mix in the area, but this is something that, being we're 6 days out, I can't quite say we're super confident in that yet. The possibility is there, and we are watching that possibility. But once again, the forecast will likely change a lot between now and Monday morning. The European model here, the other possible scenario in this case, shows wintry mix coming in a little bit later in the day. Again, the snow and ice, something that we're not super confident about at this time. The temperatures in the 20s and the teens, those feels like temperatures possibly single digits, something we are a lot more confident in. Michael asks, is it going to snow? Right now with the guidance that we have, the snow potential isn't looking that great. I'm not saying it's zero, but it's not something that I'm super confident in at this time. If we did happen to see snow, I think our southern Arkansas counties have the best chance of seeing that, as they will be a few degrees cooler than us here in northeast Louisiana. But once again, the confidence for wintry precip is not really there at this time. Definitely not snow. But the possibility, certainly something we're going to keep an eye on here over the next few days especially. Really the focus here is going to be Thursday night into Friday morning storms. That's going to be the main focus until we get those storms behind us. Then all focus is going to shift on those cooler temperatures and the potential for some freezing rain and other wintry precip as we go into next week. I see James is tuning in from Saline this evening. Thanks for joining me. The same to you, Rhonda. I see you're joining from St. Joseph. And once again, I'm going to refresh these comments on our news page one last time. And then we're probably going to go ahead and hop off. Roy asked if you'll be able to fish. If you want to go out there in the cold, make sure to bundle up. It's a little hard to say right now, but at least for the early parts of those bitter temperatures, I don't think the water will freeze over rapidly, but it's something we'll just have to watch. It'll all depend on that water depth, how cold we get. There's a lot of factors that go into it. But again, if you bundle up, something you could certainly try out. I see William is joining us this evening, and Leah is joining from Oak Ridge. Thanks for joining us. And William asked what things are looking like north of I-20. I think that's where, if we see wintry precip, whether that's freezing rain, sleet, snow, anything, I think the best chance for that will be north of I-20. As far as that goes, again, not super confident in that right now. We'll continue providing updates on social media, some of those live here in the days to come. But just in case, I'm not sure if you were referring to the winter weather threat or the storm threat, but I'll take things back real quick to what we're looking at storm-wise late Thursday night and early Friday morning. So this is what we're looking at on Futurecast. Let me see if I can get that to switch over. Okay, there we go. So Futurecast, again, pretty quiet over the next few days. I'm going to see if we can't fast forward that timeline a little bit more. Thursday stays quiet. The cloud cover builds in during the afternoon. Isolated showers possible early evening. The main line of showers and storms comes through about Friday morning, likely about the time you head out on that morning commute. A lot of us will be dealing with that rain by mid-morning. Again, some of these storms could be strong to severe. Even if we're able to dodge that threat, definitely expect some moderate to heavy rain. And then by the noon hour, we see that rain clear out of the Arklamas. And real quick, I'm going to throw our app QR code back on the screen. If you don't have that weather app, again, something you're going to want to have as this week. It's going to be pretty active. So there's that QR code. I'll switch things over to our Facebook profiles momentarily, but you can scan that QR code to download that app for free. I'm going to give things about 30 more seconds. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment those. And then here's our Facebook pages. If you're not following those already, once we hop off, I encourage you to do so. All of us will post our own individual updates. We'll also post team updates on our weather page. And again, some live streams we'll have a few more live streams as well to keep you updated. It's a lot easier than on the air. We don't have a time limit on the live stream, so we can definitely answer a little more of those questions and take a little more time, go a little more into detail with what we're expecting. So there are our Facebook pages. That's what they look like. Once again, you can search our names up and follow those at no cost to you at home. All right, here's the last round on questions. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. Again, we'll continue updating you in the days to come, hopefully a few more live streams. I see Terry was asking a little bit ago about the tornado threat. It is on the lower end. It's not zero, but from what I've seen from model indications, it looks like our tornado threat is not that great. And the timing that these storms will roll through definitely is helping us as well. Since we're not seeing that peak daytime heating when they move through, there's a little less energy for those as they approach the Arklamas. I saw Melissa ask about ice possible in Winfield. Ice would be possible if we see that wintry precip, but again, that's uncertain. Definitely keep tabs on our Facebook pages. We will provide more updates on the confidence of that wintry precipitation as we get a little closer to next week. All right, you can continue asking questions here on the live stream. I'm going to go ahead and hop off, but I'll do my best to respond to those comments quickly once the live stream ends. You can also find other posts on our page and ask questions about those specific posts detailing different hazards as well. For now, though, we're going to go ahead and hop off. Thank you for joining us this evening. And once again, keep that KNOE weather app handy, and also keep an eye on those Facebook pages. We're going to be providing a lot of updates on this active weather in the days to come. Thank you for joining us tonight.